Good afternoon, all. Today we are having webinar come workshop by Prakash sir. Like we are veterans, he is the veteran of a corporate. I won't say a veteran, but still going very strong. He is pass out from IIT Delhi 1970, and
75.
I'm 90. Sorry,
70,
1975. 75 he
yeah.
passed out. Sir.
70,
75.
75 was the batch. Yeah.
Yeah. And IIM-Ahmedabad, he is a pass out 1977. Some of you were
Yeah.
not, even I was not born.
Born, okay.
Then he started his career as a sales manager with Madura Coats Limited. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah. They are used to be the world leader in threads, sewing threads.
That is way back in 1978. Then he was
Yes.
with Gillette for some time. That is 1 year. Then he was with Amtrix air conditioners till from 1987 to 1991, 4 years.
Yeah.
Then career for sure. I mean, uh, I think this was your own venture, sir. Career for sure.
Yeah. There are 2 or 3 ventures we have had, and Careers for Sure is more into career counseling and mentoring.
Yes, sir.
And we
And
have
then
also program campus to corporate, helping students also and having lateral, helping lateral recruitments also.
so currently, sir is a CEO of Impact HR Services. He's got a lot of name in the industry. A lot of people swear by him. Some of you know him also, I know. And what we are looking forward to is that his guidance to basically resume writing, LinkedIn. He do provide other services also, but today what we are going to mainly focus on resumes and LinkedIn. Prakash sir, over to you. Forum is yours. You can start now, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohan, and good evening to all of you. I have always admired the armed forces since I was a child, and it's my pleasure really to be associated with so many senior people, decorated officers over here today. It's really an honor and a pleasure for me. Career planning and job search strategy is really a very vast subject. So when Rohan approached me, I said 40 minutes time, 50 minutes time is too short really to cover. I myself spend half an hour to 1 hour learning more about this field every day. So you can imagine the vastness and depth of this entire field. But let's try to do justice to the time. And at least you'll have a fair amount of top view in terms of what is required now that I feel some of you are transitioning into a second career and a second innings. I'll try to help you out to the extent possible. Today, we'll cover some basic aspects of what a job search strategy looks like and cover at length a few important topics, at least the starters, what you should be starting off first with before you get onto the next level of job search strategy. I would be happy if this session is interactive. You can ask as many questions as possible. And Rohan has been good enough to share CVs of 2 senior of your classmates. If time permitting towards the end, I would like to spend some time evaluating the resumes and giving you some practical guidelines, what a resume really should be doing and what it should look like. I'll be sharing my screen at times, when especially on Zoom, when the screen changes, at times I'm on one screen and you people are seeing some previous screen. So if you can't see it, please let me know because very difficult to keep track of what screen is being seen by you. So let me start off straight from the beginning. Okay, this is where you are. Sorry?
We can see your screen, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So this is where you are, having had one stint successful in the armed forces, now looking at where you really aiming to be in your next stint, which will also be a fairly long and involved stint. So let's see how to really make this thing happen. First thing you should be really looking at is, and I'll be spending fair amount of time is, who is your so-called, you're doing MBA course and all that, who is your real customer and who's your buyer? Who are you addressing your entire job search strategy and your entire efforts at? Essentially, it is obviously at the employers. You're going to be looking at employment, private sector, corporate sector, public sector, whatever it is. But there also the key person, the gatekeeper to the company will always be the recruiter. He is the one who really decides which are the CVs that go through the system in the organization and you get a chance to get an interview. So you have to ensure and understand and empathize with what a recruiter, and now onwards, whatever I mean by recruiter is, I'm using the word very loosely. Recruiters can be of two types. One is corporate recruiters. They could be heads of HR of companies. They could be talent acquisition managers. They could be third party recruitment firms like us, essentially all working towards a common goal of identifying good talent for corporates. So now onwards, recruiter will be really a very loosely used term, so long as you can understand that these are the people who help you navigate through the complex system of organizations and at least try and see that you reach a first level of interview. Today, what's happening, and I'm sure all of you are quite educated, quite a few have been engineers. In the past, we have helped a lot of such armed forces people at very, very senior levels, also in the army, in the navy, and the air force. So I can understand that some of you are really from extremely good engineering institutes, technology, electronics, and all that, worked on advanced systems in the navy. So you can understand today technology is moving at a very rapid pace, and product and service life cycles are shrinking very rapidly. So with the result, the companies like even iPhones, the latest iPhone and all, company invests a huge amount of money, billions of dollars developing it. At the same time, the life cycle is hardly 1.5 years. Every 1 year, 2 years, they're coming out with new models and cannibalizing the old models. That is the reason why a recruiter is always going to be under pressure. He wants to see that he gets the right person and very fast. A day's delay can cost a company a lot of money in terms of lost opportunities and profits, and I would say extended costs. Second thing is recruitment is a very, very risky business from the corporate recruiter and the third party recruitment firms like us. One wrong hire by a company can cost a lot of money in terms of, and all of you have been handling huge size of projects and all that. A wrong person at the helm of affairs can really upset the company's bottom line definitely and happiness totally. It's a very, very huge cost. At times it could be 5 to 10 years of the salary of the person that they have recruited wrongly. Hence, recruiters are always looking for speed, recruiting people fast, and accuracy. They need accurate people, the right person to be given the offer and joins. Because of which recruiters will use all possible tools in their armory to see that the right candidate is selected. They'll go through interviews, background checks, reference checks, psychometric assessments, and all that, trying to identify the right and perfect person for the particular job. What do recruiters want really? They want to know what you have done in your career up till now. What have you achieved? Up till now, after this, also, what is really going to be important is your achievements. You have to really understand what you have done and achieved in the armed forces. Second thing is, what is your value proposition? What are you promising to deliver to the company? You might say, I've done so many things, but is that relevant to that company? So you have to, I'll come gradually to this, what really you should be talking about. And your entire communication has to be absolutely dovetail and in sync. What you talk on your resume, what you talk on your LinkedIn profile, what you talk in interviews, cover letters, all have to have that common thread. You cannot afford to have any dissonance between any of the documents. So you have to have a clear value proposition. What have you done and what are you promising to deliver to the organization? Recruiters are really keen on knowing how serious you are. A lot of times candidates just go for interviews for the heck of it, just to know the market value norm. Recruiters are very sharp characters. They can understand you straight away. Having one look at you, they can understand your background. So you have to be serious. They are looking at your experience, quality of the experience, your achievements, whether you're fit in the organization. The best candidate may not be culturally, temperamentally fit for a particular organization. So you might say, I was the best candidate. I don't know why the hell I didn't get my job. There could be various other reasons, not just your own technical and professional capability. Your aptitude, your attitude, your growability. They want to recruit you and see that you grow. You have to grow the organization and you have to grow along with the organization. No company today, because of the shrinking timelines and the product life cycles, are looking at people who are passengers. They just go on, join the company and want to retire in the company. You can retire with the company, you can have that commitment 15 years with the company, but they want you to perform in the company. They want you to perform, grow the company and grow with it. Lastly, they want your credibility and branding. They are taking you, but by taking you, they're also adding to the overall brand value of the company. So you must have a strong credibility, branding that you bring to that organization. I'll come to more details as we go along. From my point of view, your challenges today will be you're opting, I think most of you at least are opting for a second career. Most of you are moving from, I would say to some extent, sheltered career to a corporate world, which is wild, which is vague. You must have heard of VUCA and all, a lot of uncertainties in the corporate world and private sector. Maybe some of you may not be used to that. Yes, defense forces are also, most of you go through very challenging, I would say, instances in your career, but this is a very, very different type of ball game altogether. You have to be mentally clear and fit for this type of a ambiguous situation in the private sector. You might be changing your function. In the army, you might be aviation expert. Here, you might be doing entirely different functions and roles because those type of functions may not be available in the corporate sector. Maybe you might be shifting your location, maybe with your family, your children might be high school educating. You have to keep all those aspects in mind before really thinking of what exactly you want to do. I would feel from my point of view, your requirements, you should really start thinking now of establishing first is your achievements oriented value proposition. What are you promising to deliver to an organization? After all this, it's going to be a pure game of interplay between search engine optimization, resume, LinkedIn, everything. How do recruiters come to know or identify who are the right people? I'll touch upon some of these points as we go along. It's all search engine optimization. So the earlier you learn what is search engine optimization and how to make your resume stand out in that bunch of 40, 50 resumes is where your skill really will come to the fore. Next, as I told you, is professional branding. Companies want to add on to their own brand value by taking people who have extremely high professional branding and achievements. I have also written at times resumes of senior decorated officers of the armed forces who were felicitated on Republic Days. So that is a type of value addition you can do to an organization. Networking I'll come to, and persistence. Whatever efforts you're doing in terms from today onwards, changing your job and moving to another job, you have to be persistent. You cannot start off and then half-heartedly and then give up halfway. It doesn't work. You may not get a job in that way. You have to have a consistent focus and treat a job search from today onwards as a full-time project and a business. Idea is you have to be focused. Absolutely, you cannot let the focus go off. You have to be concentrated, have persistence and focus in whatever you're going to do from now onwards. Broadly, a recruitment life cycle, as I said, is a long one. We will touch upon a few points. First is, as I said, you have to have career planning. You should know what exactly you're going to do from now for the next 10, 20, 30 years of your career. Build first documents. Resume and LinkedIn are virtually the first documents, the point of contact between you and potential employers. Building a strong network, I'll come to why these are important, and network building and job search, why these are important. Interview preparations, these are all the various stages of a job search strategy. Today, we'll be talking about career planning and resume writing, to some extent branding. But other things, there are many, many other things are there. Interview preparation, salary negotiation, reference check, even evaluating the offer letter you get from companies. I am recently, coincidentally, guiding a senior person from the Navy. He's transitioned. He's retired now. He's a very young guy, 44, 45 years. He's getting a good job with a multinational financial services company. He's saying, Prakash ji, can you help me work out what salary I should be asking for this company? I think his final salary negotiation is due next week sometime, around Diwali or after Diwali. So there are many things. Even getting a job offer is one thing, but whether the offer is good enough for you or not, evaluating that, all that is part of a recruitment life cycle and the job search strategy. How corporate recruit at the senior levels? I presume most of you would be at reasonably senior levels. If you see, and this is an outcome of, I keep on putting a lot of polls on LinkedIn, and this is a outcome of global polls and my own polls. 70% probability of transitioning into a new role through your own contacts. It could be your personal contacts, your offline contacts, or your extended network on LinkedIn. 20% is the only probability of transitioning into a new role through job sites like Naukri, Monster, Indeed, and even LinkedIn Jobs is a job site. So 20% probability of transitioning through a job site and 10% through recruitment firms like us. So when Rohan said, I need your help, we can guide you how to transition into a new role. We may or may not be able to help you directly get a job. Yes, if a suitable, commensurate job comes our way, we'll definitely be happy to help you, but it may not always happen. You have to understand India today has more than 50,000 recruitment firms. Each one have their own set of clients. It's physically impossible for anyone to help you out directly. It could be a coincidence that your CV happens to be with us and we have a commensurate vacancy. And one more thing you have to realize is that third-party recruitment firms like us work on behalf of corporates. They give us the mandate to identify a suitable candidate, and we then scan the market and identify suitable CVs. We do not work the reverse way. That's called reverse recruitment. That take a CV and go and market it to corporates. That is not how recruitment works. Recruitment works. We get the mandate from the client and we work on behalf of the client and try to identify the best candidate for that particular role. Job search channels are of two types. As I said, one is impersonal channel through job sites. Only 20% probability of getting a job through a job site. I'm not saying don't apply for jobs through job sites. Please do apply. But you have to understand that the probability of getting a success and interview through a job site is extremely low. It's just 20%. I'll come to the reason why it is low. 80% is the probability of getting a job through personal contacts. A lot of companies also have employee referral schemes. So employees of the company will also be happy to refer you. That's one aspect of it. Second is your own circle of friends, circle of, I would say, contacts in the real world, outside world, and on LinkedIn are the ones who can really help you out to transition easily into a new role. Why probability of success is only 20% through job sites? There are three levels your CV has to go through before it really reaches a final stage in terms of a decision of interview. The first level is rejection of the CV by what is called applicant tracking system. ATS is applicant tracking system. These are recruitment ERPs, automated softwares, which most companies have. More than, I would say, Fortune 500, more than 95% of the companies globally have applicant tracking systems. Now, these are softwares not perfect at all. These are have were introduced long back, 15, 20 years back, but they are still not reached any level of perfection. It's all artificial intelligence and machine learning, but they are prone to errors. ATS are notorious for rejecting up to even 80-85% of the CVs fed into it. Normally, whenever a job is advertised on a job site, companies get anywhere from maybe 50, 100 CVs to the highest I've seen is 10,000 CVs. But 10,000 CVs might be for very, I would say, vanilla jobs and lower end jobs. At the mid and senior level, the type of jobs you might be applying, the company might get 100, 200 CVs. It's not that all 100 and 200 people are really matching the requirement of the job description, but globally and even in India, people just apply for the heck of it. When we put an ad for head of HR, finance people apply, legal people apply, all sorts of people apply. You ask them, why have you applied? They say, no, we thought you might have a suitable vacancy for us, you might consider us. You have to understand that recruiter is very hard nosed. He's pressed for time. He's always stressed out at the firing line from the hiring managers. He has to deliver what is really required by the company. He has no time to entertain anything that is irrelevant from his job point of view. If he's looking for a person for, let's say, head of HR, he'll only look at CVs of head of HR. He's not bothered about even the best finance person applying to a company. He's not bothered. He might delete the CV or keep it in a separate folder. So he's a very, very focused guy, stressed guy under a lot of time pressures. He cannot physically read 100 to 200 CVs. No way. That's why most companies have installed this applicant tracking systems, which reject 80% of the CVs. Good, bad. There are times excellent candidates without proper CVs, they get rejected at the ATS. Second level of rejection is, okay, even assuming 80% rejections, if there were 100 CVs, assuming 80 are rejected, 20 are now reach the mailbox of a recruiter, he will still not read all the 20 CVs. To read a CV and understand takes 4 to 5 minutes. He doesn't have 2 hours time reading CVs of one particular position only. What he does is how most of you, I'm sure, read newspapers, like those who in Bombay might be reading Times of India or Eco Times. How do you read the paper today? You just glance through the headlines. Any headline that is interest to you, relevant to your own profession, you would spend 3-4 minutes reading that particular headline. Others will just understand overall scenario and skip and go over it. That's exactly what a recruiter is doing. And this is done by very advanced studies with advanced cameras globally. Recruiter is really scanning down your resume in 5 to 10 seconds time. So your resume has to stand out in such a way that whatever you're trying to communicate, your 20, 25 years of career history, he has to get that grasp in 5 to 10 seconds time. So that calls a lot of, I would say, expertise in building resumes to ensure that your resume comes out in that 5 to 10 seconds glance. Even if 20 CVs are there, you might spend 3-4 minutes going through all the 20 CVs. in 5 or 10 seconds. He might shortlist 8 or 10 CVs out of that through first glance. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, but he'll say, okay, there are so many CVs. एक गलत हो गया तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? The final 5 or 10 CVs which he actually now wants to read, he'll spend 4 or 5 minutes, read every line, every word of the CV, and identify 3 to 4 people he wants to shortlist for an interview. So those are the 3 stages your resume has to go through. And each of the 3 stages require different type of skills in terms of building your resume. The applicant tracking system, I'll come to that in next slide itself, is a very complex system. No one has ever got a mastery over that. We can only attempt to improve our chances and reduce the chances of rejection. But anyone can who says that my CV is ATS compliant 100%, I think he's misled. Against that, easier way, simpler way is through personal contacts. When you go through personal contacts, you are sending your CV straight to the email box of the particular recruiter. There's no way he'll miss it out. And because it's come to him through some reference, your contact, your source or someone, he will ensure that he reads that resume and then decide on the merits whether to take it ahead or not. That is the reason why even when a company puts an ad on a job site and they also contact us, they say, Prakashji, if you have a good candidate, please send the CV directly to our mailbox. Let the candidate, if he wants, apply through ATS. आ गया CV मेरे पास तो ठीक है, नहीं आया तो, but at least your CV will reach me. I will then have the time to see the CV. So personal contacts and references do make a lot of difference in terms of reaching to the right recruiter in that organization. This is why the problems happen at ATS. Globally, there are more than 200 to 250 brands. There are recruitment software. Some of you engineers will realize there are softwares, they're coded differently, programmed differently, they work in different ways. Largest one is Talio over here, about 20% market share. Most multinational companies have Talio. But here also, like iPhones, they go on bringing out newer versions every 1 or 2 years. Third thing is that even if there are two companies, let's say hypothetically, Infosys and TCS, both in software, both in India, even if both of them decide to have Talio, they will customize Talio as per their own internal needs. So they will have a different Talio working each of these companies. No one can make a CV matching the requirement of all these companies. There are ways in which one can reduce the chances of rejection, yes, but you have to be very cautious that by just depending on sending your resume through a job site, your chances of getting through to the recruiter might be limited. What is resume writing really? Resume is your report card. It only has to talk about what are your data backed achievements. No recruiter is interested in knowing what all you have done in your career. No essay writing, no qualitative statement. No. He's hard nosed, he's very sharp. He wants to know aapne kya kiya hai? What have you done in your career? He just let me know. That's what he's really looking at, trying to gain that 5 or 10 seconds time. And then that 3 or 4 minutes of intensive reading, he's trying to understand what have you done? How have you transformed your earlier organization? What have you delivered? How have you been recognized? This is what he is looking for. And consequently, because he's going to spend time 5 or 10 seconds on your resume has to be short and sweet. It cannot be very complicated, 4 page, 5 page resume. He has no time to read. The longer the resume divided over 10 seconds, the less time per page he has. If you have 4 page resume and he spends mentally as a clock 5 or 10 seconds time, there's very little he can understand of your resume. So the simpler your resume, the way it is formatted, structured, the better it is for your resume to go through a recruiter's mind. And as I said, your recruiter also would like to see that your resume is ATS friendly. If your resume is not reasonably ATS compliant, there's no way it will reach the recruiter. So ultimately, it is really compressed storytelling that becomes very, very important. What is important in a resume from a recruiter's point of view? 90% is business content. Absolutely. What value you bring to my organization is what I'm concerned with. I have no other interest in anything. You might be a hockey player, you might be a football player. I'm not interested. How does that hockey help me in my organization? Fine. I'll be interested in knowing. So they are very, very brutally hard nosed and to the point. You show me what you can do for my company. If I have a suitable vacancy, yes, I'll be happy to take you. 10% overall appearance, ease of reading, as I said. And of course, there's 0% room for tolerance for any grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, and other things. Recently, one candidate I know he had gone abroad, spent a lot of money. He went to Middle East and was talking to some consultants. One place his CV was rejected because there's a one spelling mistake in the CV, and he was a vice president of a company earning more than 1 crore. One spelling mistake and the CV gets rejected. So that is the type of room for tolerance that recruiters have. They want to find any reason to reject your resume. That's all. It has to be perfect. Reasons, even if you have the best resume, why it may not be working, you need to target. You need to be, as I said in the beginning, you need to be focused. What exactly are you looking for, and target your resume for the particular organization. That's why you should never have a resume which is one size fits all. Each time you apply for a job, you must customize your resume for that particular job description. As I told you, it is SEO, search engine optimization. Look at the job description, look at what are the keywords and skills required, and please ensure that if you have performed on those key skills, those are mentioned in the resume. That is how you start reducing the level of, I would say, rejections in the applicant tracking system. After all, what is applicant tracking system? It is a device used to match what is asked for in the job description with what is given in the resume. Most of the time, it delivers a match score, 80% match score, 90% match score. Recruiters set a minimum threshold of match score. Say, I want only CVs above 80% match. So all the CVs which are not matching up to 80% all get rejected automatically by the 80s. That's why you have to customize your resume very, very closely. Spend half an hour, 40 minutes every time you're applying for a job to through a job site to customize your resume and increase your chances of going through the applicant tracking system. Next is you have to have that differentiation, your unique value proposition, how you are different from your competitors. For any position, as I said, companies get 100, 200 resumes. All of them may not be relevant for that particular job. Maybe 30, 40 resumes might be really relevant. Others are all riffraffs and not relevant. But even out of 30 resumes, how do you stand out to be among the top 3 or 4 to get shortlisted for the interview is where you really need to build your resume from a lot of, I would say, thinking and analysis point of view, and then build your resume. That's where you might be spending a lot of time customizing a resume, half an hour, 40 minutes per resume. How many positions are you going to apply for? It's a very time consuming thing. Secondly, because the applicant tracking system, the chances of going through the applicant tracking systems are low. So as I said earlier, you can apply for good jobs on job sites, but don't use that as the only channel for transitioning into a new role. Look at the other aspect, the personal contacts, which will be more helpful to you in getting transition into a good role. LinkedIn. We come to LinkedIn. Saying goes, LinkedIn, the job comes knocking at your door. Resume, you are applying to others, companies knocking at others' door. In LinkedIn, it's a reverse. The job comes knocking at your door. Now, how does the job come knocking at your door in LinkedIn? First of all, the penetration of LinkedIn in the professional community is, I will not say 100%, but at least 99 point all decimals 999%. Everyone virtually who matters has a LinkedIn profile, going right up to Bill Gates, Narendra Modi, Barack Obama, all have LinkedIn profiles. It's not that they are looking for jobs, but they realize the relevance and importance of LinkedIn for being professionally connected. At the other end, more than 90% of the recruiters have what is called corporate account with LinkedIn. My company also has a corporate account. We are signed up with LinkedIn for India. What it means is theoretically, we have access to all the 9 crore professionals who are in India on LinkedIn, which, as I said, is almost 100% of the senior community in India of professionals. As a recruiter, all that I have to do to find the candidate for a particular job, let's say a head of finance, go to my recruiter account. There are 30 to 40 filters. Feed in the filters what I want in terms of qualifications, in terms of industry, in terms of skills, function, and all that. And at the press of a button, I get all the people in the country or the geography I put in matching my requirement. That's why I said SEO, search engine, becomes very, very important. If your LinkedIn profile is not SEO friendly, you will start losing out on potential positions that might be in the market. So having got the people, maybe the matching my requirement as per my search criteria, I then start the exercise of approaching the people directly. At times, and especially at senior positions, at discrete positions, I may not even want to put an ad in the job site. I approach the people directly, start the conversation, and at times even close the positions directly without the world coming to know I had a position. There are stealth positions. Second advantage of this is I can have the speed instantaneously I get names of all the people matching my requirement. Yes, it might take a day or two to reach out to them. Unlike on a job site, I have to wait for 20 days for people to respond. Maybe the right person doesn't even see my ad. There are hundreds of ad on Naukri or LinkedIn jobs and other things. Maybe the right person has applied, but the CV was not proper. It got lost in the ATS. So many ifs and buts are here. Here, proactively, I'm identifying who are the best people for my job and approaching them. This is what is called hidden jobs. Today, about 50% of the senior positions closed in the market are hidden jobs where a recruiter goes directly, approaches the people, and there's no ad in any job site. Unfortunately, and LinkedIn is a very, very progressive and a dynamic site. It keeps on upgrading itself every 10, 15 days. There's a new feature that is being launched by LinkedIn. Most people do not know that there are 50 to 60 features on LinkedIn. Most people, like smartphones, know only 5 or 10 features, because of which your LinkedIn profile is very vague, not optimized for the search engine part of it, and you start losing out on various lucrative assignments. You should treat your LinkedIn profile, yes, as an online resume, but something even more than an online resume. I'll come to that, what it means by more than an online resume, but at least have a LinkedIn profile which is reasonably good on the LinkedIn to start getting noticed by recruiters and start going through the LinkedIn search engine optimization and algorithms. Today's world, and this is very, very demanded by corporates, no corporate would ever look at a senior professional who does not have a social media presence. And for a professional, the only social media presence that's relevant is LinkedIn. I'm not an advocate of LinkedIn. I'm not a brand ambassador of LinkedIn, no way. But I have practical as a recruiter. The what value LinkedIn brings is what I am only talking about. And the saying goes in the corporate world: if you're not on LinkedIn or if you're not actively engaged on LinkedIn, you don't exist in the professional world. Recruiters and corporates want you to be very active on LinkedIn because, yes, to one extent, it's just a medium for it is started as a platform for professionals to interact. It became ultimately the Google of professionals. Anything you want to know about a person at a professional level, you go to LinkedIn. You need LinkedIn short term to transition into a new role. Long term, wherever you are, whichever organization, you will need LinkedIn to develop clients, to identify potential employees, identify vendors for your company. So you'll be using LinkedIn as a professional business platform. That is why a corporate wants to understand how good you are on LinkedIn. And most of the time, irrespective of which way a corporate reaches you, either through LinkedIn they find out about you, or through resume they find out about you, they would definitely go through both your LinkedIn and your resume, understand both the documents, and then decide whether to call you for an interview or not. Very rarely a corporate will decide only on the basis of a resume or a LinkedIn profile to go and call a person for interview. They will look at both, study both the documents in detail, and then decide to call you for an interview. 4 C's of professional branding, you have to have clarity. Absolutely. As I said, a lot of LinkedIn profiles are very vague. When I read a profile, I don't understand what this person is talking about, whatever job is he looking for, what help does he want from me. Secondly, it has to be concise. I don't have time. Recruiters have no time reading long LinkedIn profiles, long resumes. No one has a time. Consistent. You have to be visible consistently on LinkedIn and social media. 2 days back, I put up a post on LinkedIn. The most influential people on Twitter today from India, and can you believe it? The most influential person was Ratan Tata, and amongst the top three was Anand Mahindra. Now, these people at their age and level are so active on social media. All of us as professionals have to be equally active on the professional, I would say, social media for professionals like LinkedIn. Have consistently and be constant. Memories are very short. If you have posted one post or article 3 months back on LinkedIn, no one is going to remember. Have a regulated frequency, maybe one post a week or something interesting, what you have done in your professional life, and build a fan following. That's very, very important. And these are things which are minutely observed by recruiters before they call you for an interview. That's why I said resume will give, it's like your report card of 10th standard, what you did in every role that you execute in your career. But LinkedIn is where you really come out in terms of what your personality is, what are your ambitions, what are your future plans, and I think that's what I get to understand about you. Your soft skills from LinkedIn, I understand. LinkedIn success, you have to present yourself professionally, content, grammar, spelling, because these are things which are non-executive. You have to no excuse for any of this. You are respected. I want to see how respected you are, whatever branding you bring to my company. That's why LinkedIn has a section called recommendations, where people senior to you, your seniors, your colleagues give you recommendation. From that, I really understand your personality. Most of the people do not realize the relevance of recommendations. Lot of times we shortlist candidates only on the basis of recommendations. That someone, your senior, has given you a very positive recommendation. It's like giving a reference. I have shortlisted you on that basis because a third person giving a positive information about you has more value for me compared to what you talk about yourself. You might be putting in a lot of bada chadake things and all that. I have no real confidence till I meet you. But if a third person, a senior person who's equally prominent on LinkedIn talks something about you, it will jolly well be accurate because he cannot afford to risk his own credibility on LinkedIn by giving false information. In fact, I would feel we are almost reaching the end of our presentation. There'll be one or two interesting exercises, Rohan, if it is possible, we can do quickly.
Yes, sir. We can go ahead with it. One request, sir. Today my internet connection is unstable. So in case I just go off, then Kanika will take over. Kanika,
Sure.
you're there?
Yes, sir, I'm there, sir.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I hope so far it is going well and you are finding things some interest
yes, sir.
in
Yes, sir.
whatever I
Of
have to say.
course. Of course. So we'll have some.
Okay,
I think we are going to have a lot of questions also, sir.
sure. So quickly, I'll wrap up. I kept it short so that we have at least 20-25 minutes talking about more practical things. Whenever you're applying for a job, please ensure that you have a cover letter. People do not realize the importance and relevance of cover letters. It is an opportunity for you to speak directly to an employer. Otherwise, resume तो जाता है वो क्या लिखा है is a absolutely neutral way of communicating. Here you are talking personally and addressing him by first name, dear so and so. I am pleased to attach my resume. So you are starting a relationship, bonding with a recruiter. That really melts a lot of hearts and gives you a, I would say, positive vibe with regard to the recruiter. Secondly, it also helps you to communicate why you are applying for the job and how do you fit with the job. You might have a standard resume, but the recruiter doesn't understand what this resume is all about and how why should I look at your resume. So the cover letter is the one that sets the context that this is where your job description is, this is where my strengths are, this is where I am aligned with your job description. So it really gives the recruiter a sense of confidence. Yes, this guy has taken a lot of trouble. He's bothered to find out about what's the requirement and he's trying to solve my problem by saying these are the places where I'm meeting a requirement. So it softens his entire approach towards you. Foundations of a job search strategy, I'm just summarizing now. Strong branding, very, very important. Streamline career history in resumes and LinkedIn profile, and solid networking and branding. You should build, as I said, powerful resumes. Keep your documents, most important, keep your documents updated at all times. I know one or two cases where there was a golden opportunity of applying for a job, an IT person in Microsoft. He didn't have a ready resume, he missed out the opportunity. By the time he could build the resume, it took 10-15 days, the opportunity was gone. So you cannot afford to lose out on golden opportunities. Always keep your resume and LinkedIn in sync with each other. What the two documents are talking must talk the same language and always up to date. Any changes that happen, please update your resume and your LinkedIn profile. As I told you, the importance of customizing your resume with job descriptions. Detailed job strategy. Have a goal. Very, very important. Be have that, as I said, focus, be clear. What exactly are you looking for in your career? Treat it as a business and project. You cannot be ham-handed. आज मूड आया तो अप्लाई किया जॉब, कल हफ्ता फिर आराम किया फैमिली के साथ, फिर सडनली कोई वैकेंसी देखा. नो, it has to be a constant effort. And a lot of people who keep diaries every day, ये company को apply किया, this is where I got interview call. Maintaining meticulous records so that he knows he's going on track. It's like a PERT and CPM, total planning exercise. That's what is required in a job search strategy. Quality and not quantity, because it takes half an hour, 1 hour to customize your resume for a job. You cannot afford to do target bombing. 15 CV एक दिन भेज दिया, companies को different. It doesn't help. Recruiters have a certain process which I've explained to you. So if you're meeting the processes, it takes time, half an hour, 1 hour to customize your resume. Then the chances of you going through and hitting the recruiter's desktop or there's a mailbox become very high. If you just shoot resumes at random, it's just a game of chance. One in a million chance, maybe it might go through ATS and reach the recruiter. Get a mentor and guide to guide you at all stages, because you are new in the game. You will need people to guide you how to navigate your ways through the entire jungle of job search strategy. Budget reasonable time. You have fortunately 4 months time till your course gets over. Normal time to transition into a role takes 6 months to 12 months. You'll be lucky, maybe in a month or two also you might get a transition into a role. But please budget at least at the bare minimum 3 to 6 months, realistically comfort level 6 months to 1 year. Lastly, it's not only the money that you should be looking for when you change a job. There are many, many things which are important. You should evaluate this as a total package. What is the company offering you in terms of the company's image? A smaller unknown company might give you, I've seen so many people who have come to grief 2 months, 3 months after joining a company, they got double salaries and now they're on the road. They lost the job also. So easy come, easy go. You please evaluate the company thoroughly, evaluate what's the job, what's the project, what's the technology, what's the long-term prospects in that particular company. Understand the culture. There are a lot of now sites available, Glassdoor and all, that give you an idea of the culture of the company. Evaluate those aspects of it before taking a leap into the unknown. Companies can be sweet talkers initially, but don't get restricted on and influenced only by what the HR manager is talking about and what double salary they're giving you. Look at what the company is all about. The good company may not give you as attractive a salary as a unknown company, fly by night operator who wants your skills, wants your credibility, put you on their website, Admiral or someone, and then after 1 or 2 months back to normal, you're back to looking for a job again. Please don't do that. This also happens at times. Companies have exhaustive 5, 10 rounds of interview and suddenly there's an absolute vacuum. There's no comeback, as if they are ghosted you. Position goes on hold. There's no feedback from employer. There's from recruiter. You have to keep all eventualities in mind when you're transitioning or planning to transition. You can't bank on any one particular job. If you feel you're gone to final interview, met the MD, chairman, there's no guarantee still you'll get the job. Even if you got the job, what's the type of salary they're offering is a question mark. That's subject to negotiation. After there's a health checkup, a lot of times that people get rejected. I'm sure all of you from armed forces, at least health-wise, you should not have any concern. But at times there have been deal breakers even with regard to fragile health. At times after the offer, also companies change their mind in terms of the job content and the location. So you have to keep all eventualities. It's not over till you actually join the company and you have been there for 2 or 3 months. Till that time, you can never say that I have transitioned into a great role. I will stop at this stage and as I said, I'll be happy to take on 1 or 2 interesting assignments. We still have, I think, 15, 20 minutes. Maybe if you're interested, let's look at 1 or 2 workshops. Anyone willing to volunteer?
This is yeah, Neil sir, please go ahead. Neil sir.
Volunteer for sharing the
Yeah, please share
resume,
your
sir.
LinkedIn. No, not the resume. Resume, I've got 2. I can do it later on.
Right, sir. I'll just do that, sir.
Right now, we are talking about LinkedIn. So before I conclude that session on LinkedIn, I just want to guide you 1 or 2 things on LinkedIn. It's a LinkedIn. There are more than 1 million cottage industries worldwide giving gyan on what LinkedIn is all about. You can imagine the
Yes.
depth of LinkedIn.
Anyone can share their LinkedIn
anyone, yeah.
profile.
Yeah.
Anyone can share their screens.
We look at only
Please
one
raise
screen. Others can get the input from that.
one screen. Please raise your hands.
Any one screen, yeah.
Manpreet, yeah, please go ahead, Manpreet.
Will it be possible to expand it to a larger size? Because I think this from mobile, that's why there must be some restriction. Okay, fine. This is perfect. Okay, while there are many things that one can talk about over here, uh, one or two simple things which others can also understand. See, you are amongst the few persons worldwide who has a banner. ऊपर आपका जो frigate दिख रहा है, naval ship दिख रहा है, that is what is called banner. LinkedIn is a smart site. What you don't do, it will do it on its own. But because it's got 90 crore professionals on its site worldwide, it cannot customize for everyone. This is the first thing. What happens is LinkedIn is really a reflection of how a human being works. Human beings will look at your LinkedIn profile from top to bottom, left to right. Top में first आपका यही दिखता है, the banner, which is a picture. And unlike a resume, which is really supposed to be very vanilla, no color, no graphics, no photographs, no pie charts, LinkedIn is supposed to be very, very vibrant, as much color, audio, video as possible. This is where you really engage the potential employer. Now, आपने frigate तो डाल दिया, helicopter भी डाल दिया, but looking at it, I as a recruiter will not understand what is it that you're looking at from me. You must put a value addition over it. Something in words, what exactly is your value proposition or core competence? As I said, that has to be consistent throughout. By showing the frigate, a lot of people put a lot of pictures, whether they are connected with that anyway or not, one doesn't know. Here you are from the armed forces, you are connected with it, but what is the value you are bringing to the table to a recruiter should come through at least two or three, I would say, small words. If you put over there, that will add more value to your banner. Okay, I'll come.
Right.
Other things it will be difficult to touch as of now. One more thing people should notice is on the left, he's got 500 plus connections. I was going through the LinkedIn profile of one of the people who had sent their resume. He had 100 odd connections. LinkedIn is a very, very large site. As I said, India, they have 9 crore professionals. Any particular search you put in the search bar, which is there, it will generate thousands of responses. Now, recruiter doesn't need thousands of responses, nor is LinkedIn going to give me thousands of responses. What LinkedIn does is first match out through the search engine optimization, which are the profiles best matching the recruiter's requirement. Still, there'll be thousands of them. Ultimately, what LinkedIn really gives me is maximum 500 profiles. One search page is 25, 20 pages, so 500 results generally aata hai. Now, where to position a profile on first top 10 out of 500 or bottom 10 or 500, that LinkedIn analyzes. How does it analyzes? Through all the one search engine optimization, their algorithms, the keywords and other things. But one thing you have to keep in mind is anyone who has less than 500 connections, LinkedIn doesn't even look at their profile. So if you ever have anyone less than 500 connections, even the best LinkedIn profile is of no use because LinkedIn is not going to touch it. So your first aim should be to get a good LinkedIn profile and see that your number of connections are more than 500. Next is slightly lower if you go. Manpreet, yeah, this is what I wanted to show to everyone. Analytics. Today onwards, you should keep a diary every week. Today, Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Map out this on every week basis. This is like if you go to a personal doctor. He's not going to give you medicine until he understands certain parameters of your body. Maybe temperature, maybe blood pressure, maybe heart rate, whatever it is. Then he decides how your body is functioning. Same thing. These 3 parameters are the ones that are going to determine for you internally. And this is what is not visible to anyone. This is the only part of LinkedIn, which is so-called privacy norms of LinkedIn. Otherwise, every aspect of your LinkedIn profile can be seen by everyone. Now, you have to understand, first of all, what that each of these analytics means. Parameter left, extreme left is 280 profile views. That means 280 people have viewed your LinkedIn profile. Nothing great, I would say. I'll be honest because if I give you frank feedback, that will help you to understand what is the delta that is required to transition into a good LinkedIn profile. If you were to click on this 280 profile, it will show you 90 days. Just click on that, you'll see 90 days. ऊपर top में आएगा in the past 90 days. Effectively, 3 persons per day are viewing your profile. That is extremely, extremely low. This should be at least hundreds, if not thousands. So now you can understand the magnitude of the work involved. If you can just go back. Achha, second thing is if you just scroll down slightly, I think you have a premium account with LinkedIn, because of which I can see, or it's for you to see really, who are the people who have visited your LinkedIn profile. Now onwards, if after you have completed your LinkedIn profile and a strong resume, if you find anyone who's good for your future point of view, future job point of view, you can start taking action on the right side. It says connect. At times, if he's already connected with you, you can send him a message. So this is how we start building your connections. Some people may be relevant to you, some people may not be relevant to you, but please ensure that जिससे भी आप connection करते हैं, they have to be of a certain stature and standard. They have to be at your level or above your level. Don't accept connections, anyone below your level, because as a external person, if you send me an invitation, I can see your connections. If they are below my level, I will refuse to become your connection, because this is like your gated community. You would like to have neighbors who are your standard. You would not like to have people lesser than you. Yes, they can be your friends and all, but this is professional. You're talking professional. You would like to be seen in a certain class of society. So please ensure that you're very, very choosy about the people whose connections you accept. Same reverse, be choosy about the connections you send request for. Okay, if we can go back, we go to the second metric. नहीं, let to go back to the main page. जहाँ photo है उसको click कीजिए. Yeah. Now second is 182 post impressions. What this means is you have posted something on LinkedIn and 182 people have seen your post over 7 days. That means only 20 people are seeing your post per day. This again is extremely, extremely low. This should be in thousands literally. Third is 49 search appearances. As I told you, recruiters have corporate account with LinkedIn. They search for people. Your LinkedIn profile is coming up on search results 49 times over 7 days. That means 7 times a day it is coming up. Now, question is one, first of all, of course, I'll say that 49 is not adequate enough. It could be 300, 400 search results per week. That is a good figure. 49 is not enough. Even if it is 49, are you getting any expression of interest from potential employers saying that we have seen your LinkedIn profile? It is interesting. We have a vacancy. If you're interested, please send us your resume. If you're getting it, then you can assume your resume is working or LinkedIn profile is working. If you're not getting it, see what happens is like Google. If you do a Google search, you might get 100 results. Fine, you're coming up in 100 results, but no one ever has the time and patience to read 100 results. You'll go through 5 results, 10 results, whatever you're searching for. If you're able to get, the moment you get the result you're looking for, the information you're seeking, you'll stop the search. So coming up on Google search or coming up LinkedIn search doesn't mean anything. It's only a first step. Coming up on top of the search, like your college merit list, if you're top 100, if you're on the first 5 of the list, yes, you get noticed. If you're on the 95 to 100 of the list, people may notice you, may not notice you. So moral of the story is you have to increase your content in a very, I would say, smart fashion so that you come up in more search results. And if you're active on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, what happens is evaluates a lot of metrics on your LinkedIn profile. If you just go to any post, if you have done, or anyone else's post also, ये देखो आपका है ना, ये लास्ट इसको क्लिक कीजिए आप. What LinkedIn also, if you go down, it will give the results. पीछे. हाँ, ये देखे ना, how many people liked your post, how many commented, how many reposted, and all. It takes into account dynamically all your activity on LinkedIn and projects you. It decides where you go, whether you go on top of the search results or bottom. So you need to be very, very active. One classic example I can tell you where I was guiding a person 3-4 months back. He had lost his job, poor guy. He had only 2,500, 3,000 connections. He put up a simple post in July that I've lost my job and these are the steps I'm taking to get into a new role. It hurt, it hit the, I would say, raw nerve of most of the people, with the result that his post was seen by 4,50,000 people in 2 days' time. This is what you call post going viral. He had just 3,000 odd connections. The number of connections had nothing to do with the number of people seeing your post. If it becomes very popular, it hits a raw nerve or it empathizes, creates some sympathy for you of someone else, immediately people identify it and start posting it on their LinkedIn profiles. And their followers again start, it's like pyramid marketing. Their followers will keep on putting it on their profiles. With the result, in 48 hours, his post was seen by 4,50,000 people. He got 400 connection requests. I told him to be choosy what he accepts or not. But end result was he got 8 interview calls from places and people you never knew existed on earth. That is the power of LinkedIn. That's where you really need to have a strong presence. How many jobs would you have applied to get an 8 interview calls in 2 days' time? So these are the things that there are 40 to 50 features on LinkedIn which you should be aware of. start engaging yourself, opening out those features and all, you will start getting noticed much more easily. Let's look at one more feature then. Then maybe you can move on to the resume. If you go back to your photograph, that is the main page. If anyone else wants to share also, it's fine. But I think you're having some bandwidth issue or something.
Just checking. So
Yeah, if you can just scroll down slightly. Okay, let me just tell you one second. If you go on top, first thing a recruiter does, and as I said, LinkedIn also follows exactly what a recruiter does. After the photograph, LinkedIn doesn't look at the photograph. What LinkedIn looks at and a recruiter looks at is your headline. Below your name, Manpreet Singh is your headline. This is the first place where LinkedIn algorithms start looking at for identifying keywords. So whenever a recruiter is putting any keywords, this is the first place it starts matching. So whatever are the most important keywords in your career which you're planning after this, they must be present on the LinkedIn in the headline. The more you strengthen, and there's a limit to 20 characters, including spaces. You can put up to 220 characters. Please ensure that all your key skills and hard functional skills that you're projecting for next job are in your headline. Then you will start getting more search results and you'll start going up in search results. And even if your operation, sorry.
Can I share mine?
Yeah,
sorry
please,
interrupting,
anyone.
sir. I have a question, sir. I have a question here,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Sure.
Gagan here, sir. Sir, in terms of where the title name is there, and then there are a lot of 220 words limit. Is it good
Characters,
to show
not
the organized
words.
characters?
It is,
Okay. So
yeah.
is it good to reflect the organizations which you have worked for? Is it good to show your designation, or third is good to show your skill? What works better here?
There has to be a combination of three things. One is
Okay.
your designation and your name of organization. That is one. Like CFO, some company, let's say HUL. The recruiter wants to know what you have done. So first he needs to know, okay, what are you doing? Okay, CFO, HUL, Hindustan Lever. Second is a set of at least 4 or 5 hard skills, functional skills that is there. Third is you should add in a this is like a telegraphic language, some achievement metric, what you have done. Someone might say, I have raised funds of 1,000 crores. Whatever is the performance metric, if you put over there, it has a strong, I would say, appreciation by anyone reading your LinkedIn profile. And lastly, the fourth thing is that if there's anything you have won an award, special award and all, like recognized on Republic Day, you can put it over there because this is the place you're projecting your entire value proposition. And you have to keep in mind what a recruiter does, what a LinkedIn algorithm does is it will read the first 30, 40 characters from the beginning and the last 30, 40 characters in the end. So those have to be the strongest communication that you're putting it over there. Middle ka, they may get time, may not read and all, but people always read the first line and last line. So first 4 words, 5 words, and last 4, 5 words are the most important, even in the 220 characters. If there are, let's say, 8 letters in a word, there are maximum 20, 25 words you can put over here. So first 3, 4 words and last 3, 4 words have to be the most powerful.
Will you have roti or rice?
No, I can't hear anything.
How many rotis for you? 1 roti? 2 roti?
Okay, now if you can go down, Manpreet. आप इसका ये see now exactly the about section is a summary. Earlier it used to be called summary, now it's called about. It's really a top line of your entire career. This is the only part of all your documents, your resume and LinkedIn that's supposed to be written in first person. I did this, I did that. Otherwise, it's all assume first person, recognize, perform, delivered, and all that. You never use your pronoun, first name, and other things. I. This is the only place you start using I and talking about this is your own career story you're talking about to the world. If you see, up to about 400, 450 characters can be seen on what you call top. Unless I click on see more, I cannot see anything. So again, the moral of the story is this has to be the most interesting part of what you want to communicate so that it excites a person to want to read more. नहीं तो वो 3 line पढ़ के वो चला जाएगा. Your idea is to engage a potential recruiter to read more about you. So if you put anything interesting over here in the first 3 lines, it will attract his attention and engage him. He'll want to know more. It will evoke his curiosity and he'll want to know more about you. This is what you should be doing. Have the best part of your communication in the first 2 or 3 lines of your LinkedIn profile. If you click on now see more, this has a limit of 2600 characters. Just click on that. Now go down to the bottom. See, अभी ये मैंने आपका सब पढ़ लिया. You have a good background. Now what do I do? First of all, you have not told me what you want me to do. What you okay? I've read your story. What do you want me to do? You want a job? You want to connect with me or not? Second thing is, if I want to connect with you, how do I connect with you? There's no information available over here. मैं आपको contact कैसे करूँगा? So, and this is what is called call to action. The end of the LinkedIn summary, you should put your contact to know more about me, reach out to me or whatever. Put your email ID. If you want, you can put your mobile number also. Recruiters will prefer mobile numbers, but people at times get worried spam calls aayenge and all that. So at least email ID though you should put. That's what is called in communication call to action. That okay, this is I have read your thing. You are expecting me to do this. So I can understand what is expected from me. If it is in line with what I want, I can pick up the phone and call you or send your email address. Without that, the entire exercise is of no relevance because I don't know where to contact you. And as a recruiter, as I said, I'm pressed for time. I don't have time to find out about you anywhere else. जो सामने मिला वो दिखता है तो ठीक है नहीं तो जाने दो. And then last thing I'd like to say is if you go down slightly, these other things we can go at length later on. Abhi, there won't be time. Just go down, there'll be skills section. Yeah. Now, earlier, till as I said, LinkedIn is a very dynamic site. It keeps on changing every week, 10 days. Earlier, they used to show 3 skills. Now they're showing me 2. I don't know what their logic is. But you're talking about leadership development. Is it in sync with the type of job you're looking for? Are you interested in a job in developing people, education and all? Then leadership development is fine. Others, you're putting a skill, you can put maximum 2 skills on top. If that skill is not reflective of the type of job you're looking for, it's a wasted skill. Digital marketing, maybe you're interested in a career in digital marketing, great, keep it. Otherwise, you can realign what is visible to external world, the top 2 skills. If you feel these are not relevant and it has been done automatically by LinkedIn, you can reorder it forcefully according to your requirements. So this is what a recruiter is definitely going to look at. When he goes down, he wants to know what are your skills. This has to be in sync with your headline also. But if leadership development is not the type of skill you're projecting for your next job, you should put in some other skill which is relevant. And that skill will come from the 50 skills. All of you must ensure that you fill up all the 50 skills. This is the place where LinkedIn algorithms are going to work. So if I see some LinkedIn profiles, 10 skills, 15 skills, it's a waste of facility available. If you can put 50 skills, आपका 3 bedroom hall है, 1 bedroom को खाली आप furnish करेंगे, बाकी छोड़ देंगे. It's a waste of efforts. Okay, last thing I'll tell you, go down the LinkedIn profile. देखो, आपका recommendation I was telling you, not there. You must start generating recommendations. And as a first step to really increase the number of connections, you can start connecting with each other to increase it beyond 500. At least आपस में तो you'll accept each other's connections and you're all at the same level. Now you can go down. थोड़ा और नीचे. हाँ. These are 4 important things. Companies from today onwards start following companies where you are targeting to go for a job or where you're planning to apply. Because as a recruiter, it massages my ego to know that you're following my company. If you are looking for a job in a company and you're not even following me, not even wanting to learn more about me, then my confidence in you starts coming down. There's another section over there, influencers. कभी दिखता है LinkedIn में, कभी नहीं दिखता है. So there, if it is there, you activate that and start. If you want to be, let's say in GE, then try to follow the chairman, CEO of GE worldwide. That's come in top influencers or top voices में आ जाता है वो. इसमें आपका वो खुला नहीं है. Next is your groups. Become a member of, as you can become a member of 100 groups, become a member of as many groups as possible relevant to your career. If you're looking for a job in digital marketing, try to put in, become a member of as many digital marketing groups or marketing groups as possible. 4th is the schools. Let's see which schools you're following. you're following only one. No, as I told you, the best people to help you out will be your classmates, your school, your engineering college, your post graduation, your army people. कोई है. Plus, if you have done any certification programs, like you have done in IIM Bangalore, if you have done any certification in NEET, in XLR, anything, even if it's a 1 week certification program, please start following them. Because if you are part of a same cohort, you will have sympathy and empathy for it. You will be willing to help each other out. So that is how you start getting visibility and exposing yourself to the right community. Any other questions anyone has? Others, we can do the resumes then.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Colonel Saurabh, sir. Sir, like in LinkedIn, generally, when you try to join any group and all, sir. So, like I personally face the issue of that they don't accept the like you just wait to for them to accept your request till the time you cannot join. And sometimes there is a message that your request has overshoot or over limit. Is there any limit of joining number of groups?
No, 100. Maximum you can be a member of 100 groups. That is one. Second thing you have to keep in mind is that group is formed by some individual or individuals. They might be like, WhatsApp group administrators. Now, certain groups on LinkedIn are very large, 4 lakh members and all that. Every day, if he gets 1,000, 2,000 requests for membership and all that, he also has his own personal life, business to continue. It might delay. It's quite possible. Some people have this thing that you have to be accepted by the administrator and then you get in, like your WhatsApp. At times, it is free for all. You just sign up and you get admitted automatically. It depends on group to group. There's no common norm over there.
Yes, sir, because sometimes like the professional learning groups are also there. So if someone like I have also sent my request for connect, but they have not accepted it. There's a message that the membership limit is this much, and so what should I do? I should then
you can't do anything about it. Like your WhatsApp, if the person doesn't want to admit you in your group, तो क्या कर सकते हैं? As I said, like your connection, your society, gated community, they don't want you to become a member. You can't do anything. But on the positive side, LinkedIn has hundreds of group in the same thing. So एक नहीं तो दूसरा कहीं ना कहीं कर सकते हैं आप. You don't need to be restricted to any particular group, but you can try other groups in the similar field.
Sir, and sir, one more query, which is respect to the LinkedIn jobs and all, sir. Like once you search for any LinkedIn jobs, then they say they search your profile and then they say that your so many skills are matching and these skills are not matching. Now, for applying for every job, do we need to amend our skills accordingly? Like what you are saying regarding the resume thing, the same goes with the LinkedIn.
Applicable, yeah, because resume and LinkedIn are both same. LinkedIn is much beyond an online resume, but it is still a resume, but much more than that. See, resume you're always restricted by the notion of 2 page resume होना चाहिए, 3 page resume आ जाता. LinkedIn, you can put a whole encyclopedia also with it. Various sections, there are more than 35, 40 sections, and there's no limit in certain sections, like articles. You can go on posting any number of articles. You can post videos and all that. So there's no limit on LinkedIn. That's why a recruiter has a field day trying to understand you as a person. Whereas resume is constricted to those 2 pages and what you're talking about it on that.
Sir, understood. Sir, my point is that suppose if I apply for 3 jobs from the LinkedIn, having 3 different skills. Now, few skills are matching. Like all 3 companies have few skills which I need to be there in my LinkedIn. So, what should I do? What should we do? Like we should amend scale accordingly, one company or all the 3 companies, because there are like 50 skills. Yeah.
Yeah, what happens is, see, resume, of course, you can customize and you must customize for every job you apply. LinkedIn, look at the job description, whichever are the most important skill. No recruiter is going to see, acha, 20 skill hai, sab 20 match kiya, nahi kiya. It has to be depending on the importance of that skill in that particular job, like digital marketing. Anything related to digital marketing, agar wahan hai, search engine optimization, hai, wo 4-5 main skills, agar aapka missing hai, unme se kuch ek, to you should add in your LinkedIn profile. If you feel they are generic skill like communication, problem solving, you can forget all that. So if there
is there any common skills which is applicable to most of the companies, like which is there?
Yeah, those
because
then
again and again we don't need to amend it.
Yes, exactly. But if you are like say if it's a great company Google and they're asking for a specific skill, if you have got experience in that skill, you can modify your skills section and put that skill.
Okay.
Because you want it to match. If it is in the top of the skill, see if you go to word cloud, There are also a lot of softwares called word cloud, which identified at instant the frequency of certain words. Those words which are repeated in the job description 8 times, 10 times, those you presume are important words, इसलिए they are being repeated. So see those skills are there in your LinkedIn profile. जो एक आध बार कभी आ गया, forget about that. You can't go on changing every time for everything. It's not possible. But your main skill, what the job description asking for, that has to be there. Otherwise, the ATS or the LinkedIn algorithm will reject it, your profile.
That means for every job description or every this, we need to have those important skills amended in our LinkedIn also.
Absolutely.
Am I right,
Yes,
sir?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, any other questions, anything? Yeah, I think
Sir, one
Meenakshi.
question.
Yeah,
Sir, Anand sir, just hold on. Prakash sir, can we stop sharing the screen now?
it's not mine, it is Manjot ka screen.
No, that's
Manjot
what
ka
I'm
screen.
taking your permission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Sir, Anand sir, please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Sir, very interesting talk. Just wanted to know one thing, sir. As Fauji, the biggest problem for us is identification of what we want to do. How can an external agency help us in that when we talk to them? To say,
That's why I said that you must have a mentor and a guide, because you have been living a very secluded life. You have been in different cantonments and other things. You are not interacted with the external world, corporate world. Have a person who you can trust and guide, like your family physician or someone, same way a career guide or coach, who can guide you what is right and wrong. Why only armed forces? Yesterday I was talking to someone from Middle East. He's an engineer from a good institute in India. He's just retired. He's 59 now. He's saying, Prakash, I don't know what to do. My children are in US and Canada. Here I'm staying in Dubai. Abhi main life mein kya karu?
sir, just the point is because you see, in my case, I'm an ex-NDA, sir. I have not even seen college. After 12th, transition to National Defense Academy, and we've seen only Fauj. When we go for an SSB interview, the SSB interview psychologically analyzes and says, okay, you are fit, you can be trained for this role, you can be accepted. Now in corporate, when we go and question, how do I find an agency who says, you have these qualities, you are most likely suited to be this. So do you have any list of agencies who do that? I mean, they do handholding on a, when we pay money, they can conduct a mock interview. If you have any list, sir, we'll be very grateful if you could share it with us.
There are lots and lots. You can do a search on LinkedIn. I said LinkedIn is the Google for professionals. You can search on that. We have, my own company does it also. We do it, but
Okay.
I'm not promoting myself. You can search on LinkedIn. There are many people, career guides, career coaches. There are many of them. You can evaluate their capabilities and approach them. There's no problem. They'll be happy to help you. Yeah, yeah.
Sure,
Anand sir, if I may interrupt, Prakash sir has got a great reputation. If we are talking about, career mentoring and coaching, I've heard a lot about him. Sir, I'm not advertising for you, but
I'm also not promoting myself.
But I have heard so many good things about you. I mean, he's very humble in saying that you can do, but he's a guy. I mean, if you can go with him, he's a great mentor for this.
Okay.
No, thank you, Rohan. Yeah. Okay. Maybe
Suresh,
last
please
couple
go
of
ahead with your
questions.
question.
Sir, good evening,
I'm
sir.
done.
Good evening. Good evening, Suresh.
Sir, my question is further to what Colonel Saurav has asked, sir. This is regarding, sir, when we apply for job, we are aware that we need to tailor or tweak our CV as per the job description. So while we do it, we are applying parallelly for n number of jobs. Let us say 5 to 10 jobs we have applied, sir. So our experience column, which has been shown in the LinkedIn, sir, it is how do we tweak it, sir? Because all the 5 or 10 recruiters will see that.
See, what happens is resume you can customize. LinkedIn you cannot customize, because LinkedIn is real time 24/7. Someone sitting in Singapore might be seeing your LinkedIn profile even now, or in USA. You cannot customize LinkedIn for every job. But yes, if there's an important job and all that, that particular time you can customize LinkedIn. But there's no saying that someone else might come to your LinkedIn profile and find something different. Important jobs you can customize LinkedIn, but generally as a rule you cannot do it every time. That's physically not possible.
Okay, sir. So the further, I have one more question, sir. Is it like in the army, sir? It is concerned to every one of us. We are good at various fields, and we can look for a job in corporate in various domains. So in my case, for example, I am looking for a job in program oblique project management. I wanted to even explore business continuity and crisis management, and also operations and supply chain management. So though your start point was I should focus on one thing and build up on that, what I want to do it in next 10 to 15 years. So if I want to see, because that increases my chances and options, my gates get further opened. So how should we deal with this type of situation, which is applicable to all of us, I believe?
What happens is, when I said focus, one is you have to customize your resume for every job you apply. That doesn't mean that if you want to do program management and you want to do infrastructure and you want to do, let's say, for IT people, security, CISO and all that, you should not do it. No. But when you are applying for a job, that particular resume should be focused totally onto the job. Do not confuse the recruiter by putting all type of skills over there. He'll get confused. आखिर इसको चाहिए क्या? So it has to be a very, very concentrated, focused effort in applying for a job. You are free to apply for any job, experiment, whatever is the best offer that comes to you, then you can grow in that. But right now, don't start off with a particular thing that yehi mujhe karna, and no. Keep your options open and see what comes your way, and whatever the best you can take it up. But moral of the story is that you should really customize your entire thinking and effort for that particular role at least. Because I see CVs talking about, even today I saw quite a few CVs. After I was getting confused. After all, what does he want? He's talking about project management, he's talking about HR, he's talking about finance and all. Usko kya job chahiye? Recruiters are willing to help, but you should be clear what you want. You should be clear and reach out and communicate.
Sir, just wanted to add on to what Colonel Suresh was mentioning, sir. Generally, what we are having is that that kind of clarity. So, first thing is the clarity part, which I'm sure what you discussed, that mentoring and coaching is required. And secondly is opening up options. Like we are opening 2-3 options because the job market is such, and since we are not aware of the corporate culture, the company things, and basically we are having lack of knowledge, sir, to be honest. So that is the starting point from where we will be starting. We are not very much sure ki HR, operations, security. So there are 2-3 options we are trying to opening, and then we are applying accordingly. That is what we are, as of now, we are thinking. If I'm Suresh, am I right? This is what.
Yeah, see, first I would feel is you should do internal introspection. All of you are very educated and very experienced and all that. What is your passion? What is your liking? Like in Japanese, ikigai, what really do you want to do now? Understand what are your strengths, what are your liking and all that, and then build a career around that. That's very, very important. There's no point getting into a job or a career where you are unhappy about. Once you are that clarity is there, and that has to come internally. Other outside factors, consultants can guide you how to reach that decision. What is the type of job you're looking for? But ultimately, the thinking has to be done by you. You have to decide what really you have done in your career, 10 years, 20 years in the armed forces. What did you like? You have done various, I'm sure you have been exposed to many roles, assignments, duties and all that. What was it that you really liked, what you performed, where you want to spend another 10, 15 years? So that is a place where you should start building your career from.
Sir, one more thing in that. Definitely, we are doing that kind of introspection, but generally, whenever we interact with people outside, they say ki whatever you have been doing in Forge, don't think that the same thing will be applicable there in the corporate world. So that is again a question. Like suppose I like to do administration or operational thing, what I've been doing, but the job role, what I am doing in my army, it might differ in a corporate arena. So that way there is a lack of clarity. काम तो ये किया हुआ है, लेकिन वहां जाने के बाद क्या होगा, क्या फिर then I will like it or not. Those are the kind of questions which are at present be in our mind.
What happens is, as I said somewhere, you need to identify what are the transferable skills. What you have done in the army has been very specific, or the navy has been specific for that, like running helicopters and other things, defense and maintenance centers and all that. But from that, you have to derive what were your key skills. Your army people are very good in project management, operations, organizing, supply chain, budget management, procurement, team leadership. You lead platoons of 10,000, 20,000 at a time, jeep movement, vehicle movements and all that. So you have a lot of strengths. You have to identify what are your key experiences and professional transferable strengths, which can be then transferred to the corporate sector. Of course, they won't be. If you want, we can close. Just send me 2 CVs to do fair to them. 5 minutes if I can just touch upon them if you feel there's time? The
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Otherwise-
There is one CV we can see because that person
Okay.
is
You tell me the
here
you tell me the name. There are two people you are sent. You tell me whichever.
Cherith is
Okay.
the name. That
One
CV we
second.
can.
He's there today over here.
Yeah, he's there. He's there
Yes,
on
sir.
call.
Yes.
He's the one, sir. Can you see him, sir?
Okay.
Start
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
closer.
All army guys are smart. I wanted to be once upon a time, but never really had the courage to go ahead. Okay, 1 second, I'll share the screen. Okay, can you see his screen? And what I'm saying is all in, I would say, as a learning, nothing negative, nothing is about a person and all, just guiding you. What is good about the resume, what is not good about the resume. It's for common learning for everyone. Nothing to do against Mr. Charit or anything, nothing like that. Okay, my broad comments for this particular type of resume will be, one is you have to keep in mind that most of the time the resume is going to go through the applicant tracking system. Now, although 80% rejection happens, there are certain common guidelines across the 250 ATS, which are followed by most of them. So if you follow certain minimum guidelines, then the chance of rejection come down from maybe 80% to maybe 40-50%. One of the guidelines you have to keep in mind always is, as I said, recruiters, ATS, everyone, LinkedIn, read from top to bottom, left to right. So all your most important personal information has to come on top. Absolutely. Because if I've liked your resume, I don't know where to contact you. It's a loss of effort. Now, Mr. Cherith has got either like his photograph is blocking all the thing. First of all, no photographs, anything on LinkedIn, on resume. All your color, audio, video, sub on LinkedIn profile, nothing on resume. And especially if you're applying for multinational companies, they do not want to have photographs on your resume. They don't want to have any gender bias, age bias, or anything. So you can remove the photograph from here. But what is most important from my point of view will be your current location. Even if you're open to relocation, first time when I get a CV, I want to know where this person is based. If I am in Bombay, CV is in Bombay, more likely I'll call the person for interview. If the person is Calcutta, I'm in Bombay, I may not even look at the CV. He might be the best person for my job. Relocation, interview, family commitments, other things might be the encumbrances at a later stage. So what is for information required on top of your resume? इसमें सब कुछ है except the location. That has to be there. You can write in bracket open to relocation, that's fine. Second thing is over here, he has done a lot of work, but as I told you, the resume has to be very easily scannable. In 5 or 10 seconds time, how much of the information can I correct? Very, very limited. So all that you're talking about, the major things have to come in very clear, simple language. Abhi, he has done a lot of good work over here. He's talking about something $80 million of work and 1.9 billion. That's the important thing. That's a skill. That's a quantifiable database metrics. These are things that should have been highlighted. But basically, in this whole, itna volume koi recruiter padne wala nahi. Your resume should be always very simple to read. And like over here, he's got the bullet forms and all. This is the best way of writing resumes. Lot of white space, lot of clarity, small sentences, 8-word, 10-word sentences. This is the easiest and best way to write resumes. It's not dense text like, paragraphs, no recruiter will have time to read it. So you have to summarize and put in 1 or 2 bullets each of the things that would have strengthened the CV substantially. So he has done a lot of good work, but it's getting lost in the verbosity and the volume of the words being used. Also, never have columns on your resume. These things are not, I would say, going through the ATS. ATS can read straight left to right. Anything that is there in this type of columns, all this information very highly likely that it will get missed out. So the most important part of your resume might get skipped out by the ATS because it cannot read columns and text boxes and other things. It should be plain text left to right like this one. This is the best way to write resume, but shorter bullet points and other things. Next, what is missing in the resume is really quantification. Lot of data. Jitna bhi aap data which is non-confidential, you're from armed forces, you might have dealt with very secret missions and other things. Please do not put on your resume. verbally you want to talk in the interview, that's your call, not mine. But try to put as much information, like he's talking about handling manpower and all that. Nowhere have you mentioned what's the size of the manpower you have led, the size of teams you have led. So these are the type of information, specific information, which will be a very, very important information for a person to really look for. Next is he's even talking about many special missions he has done over here in terms of mental, that gone through his resume earlier also, and in terms of 1 second, I'll just show you where it was. The first thing is he's among the few people who's got a headline. A lot of people don't even have a headline. At least when I read it, I can understand three things. One, he was a senior person, joint director. Second is his competencies are in PMO, project management, or whichever way you call it, and operations. But there are many other things he has done which he could have also put over here in top. Because this is a place where a recruiter is going to read 100%. And such large words and all, obviously, he's going to read. Most of the time, recruiters make up their mind first 2 or 3 lines of your resume. They decide whether this person is relevant to me or not. So if you're writing strong information, your value proposition, like here, the value I get is he's a senior person in project management and operations. If I had a vacancy of that type, I may consider the resume. But needless to say, down in the resume, you have to justify it. You can't put away anything in the headline and have no proof over here in the text part of it that you have ever done anything in PMO or operations. So your summary over here should have been a summary of your achievements. What are the major achievements you have had in PMO or operations or maintenance? Quantifiable information if you had put, that would have strengthened the resume substantially. Otherwise, it's a good resume. Okay, one more thing was there. He has put prior experience. You could have done is have a simple section where early career. Just put your titles and the period that you worked. Or you can say 10 years worked in, so because a recruiter might be interested in knowing whatever roles you have performed even in your earlier career. You need not give more detail over there, but at least you can write the title and the period. So I know, okay, one, there's been continuity, and secondly, these are the type of diverse roles he's performed. Like here he's talking about 700 engineering personnel. This could have come up in top in the achievements part of it over here. The first para is what anyone is going to read, right? Even if you go to an article, you will read the first para, second para. After that, quickly you will start rushing down. So that 5 or 10 seconds glance mainly is focused on the first 1/3 or half of the page of a resume. This has to be the most strong part of your resume, where a recruiter will really quickly go through it. So जो आप यहाँ डालेंगे, this will be what will influence his decision whether to consider this CV reading for another 3 or 5 minutes at length or not. Plus, he's got certain international tie-ups and other things. These are things that are very important from even the private sector point of view. Global technology, global tie-ups and all. These should have come in bullet points, very clearly readable. That would have strengthened the resume substantially. And you have to also assume that ATS is also not perfect. It's been under development last 15 or 20 years. It makes a lot of mistakes. So it's not dense text, even the ATS may not be able to read. Although there are ATSs which read something like 10 lakh resumes in 8 or 10 hours time. But the speed at which they read, if it is not correct fonts, correct size of fonts and all, it tends to miss out a lot of information. I am not sure on this PDF. I can't make out which font it is, but normal right font is either Arial or Calibri, and normal font size is 10 to 12. The length of the CV is quite good. 2 pages is the right size. Don't go for CV more than 2 pages unless you have some more definitive and important information to communicate. Otherwise, from a recruiter's point of view, what is most important is your last 10 to 15 years of your career, not your entire career. What you have done very recently, last 5, 10 years, is the most important from a recruiter's point of view. These things, again, could have come on top. You could have put award-winning joint director. So at least I know he has won awards. Whatever your best of your career needs to come on top of your resume. Any question, anything you have? Sorry, no, I can't hear.
Sir, understood all your recommendations, sir. Thank you, sir. We'll implement all.
Yeah, also make it a modern resume. Location is not a constraint. You're putting it over here. You should put it on top, because a recruiter will always look at location on top. If you write over here, if you were in, let's say, Delhi and the job is in Bombay, and if you are writing over here in the 5 or 10 second class, you may not even read this. So
Right,
you
sir.
have, whatever is important, you have to highlight on top. And these are old-fashioned references available on request no one. Recruiter will always do the reference on his own. You don't need to put that statement over there.
Okay, sir.
But you have a good background. You have got MTech IIT. Why don't you put over here after your name in bracket MTech IIT? Because it's
Yes.
immediately establishing yourself and differentiating yourself from others.
Right, sir.
So whatever is the best, please put it in the first 1 or 2 paras of your resume. That will do you a lot of good.
Understood, sir. Oh.
Chalo, good.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you so much.
over to you, Rohan. Yeah, 1 minute. Just we'll wind up and then over to Rohan. From my side,
Kanika, you have something to ask?
Yes, sir. I have a question. We have to give references also. So I want to know what kind of references should we give?
where references at what stage and to whom?
Suppose during interview, they generally do ask for the references. What kind of references should we give?
No, they have to be all professional references. People from the armed forces who have been senior to you, or at the most senior colleagues and all. Not family, friends and all, no way. It has to be people who know how you have performed and worked. Or at the most, if ever you have interacted and you're allowed to give names, maybe external world, your partners, your vendors, your technology providers or someone, you can give those names. It has to be professional. It cannot be personal friends or relatives, no.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. So from my side, wish you all a great career and the second innings. Absolutely. I'm sure you'll do extremely well because the type of discipline, rigor you go through in the armed forces, those are things I think that is lacking. We have talked about what is lacking in the armed forces, but I'm saying there's a lot of things lacking in the corporate world also, which armed forces really have. So it's a win-win situation. I am sure most of you will get aligned into a great career role. Given a reasonable time, maybe 3 months to 6 months, all will be doing extremely well. We have helped a lot of people, in fact, right up to colonels, air commodores and all that. I know quite a few people who have really done extremely well in their second career. So if you have any worries or qualms, kya ho gaya, private sector and all, I don't think you need to be very worried. And the type of discipline and rigor that you have gone through, I'm sure you'll be able to do a great job in the private sector also. So thank you. Thank you
Sir,
very much.
we click a photograph and then we put a LinkedIn post. I'll just request you to wait for 1 minute. Guys, please switch on your cameras.
But 1 minute, you should also give a feedback. How did you find the session? So that
we'll click a photograph and then everybody will give a feedback.
Okay. Sure.
Asha ma'am, can you please switch on your camera? No. Okay. Smile, please. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, you can give your feedback to Prakash sir. Anything that you want to tell quickly, one-liner or something?
Thanks so much, sir. Wonderful. We covered so many things that Prakash sir has taken out his time to cover. And we think we have to work upon the CVs and resumes as he has stated. Thank you so much, Prakash sir.
Welcome.
Honestly, sir,
thank you so much, Prakash sir.
While it was on, the LinkedIn thing, we did not know about it. And I've done it while you were saying so. I have done it. It is absolutely educational. Sir. Thank you so much.
You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed to know the people you're going to interact with in the corporate world, heads of HR themselves don't know what LinkedIn is all about. Yes, so काम तो चला देते हैं, लेकिन उनका खुद का LinkedIn and all that is atrocious, absolutely.
So actually,
yes,
it
no
was
clue.
very
That's
enlightening.